Well, Spooky, I see you're here on the front porch, holding down the fort, right? Well, hey, you want to do a garden walkabout with Papa today? Yeah. We need to check things, okay? Don't you think? Huh? You think we should? Okay. Well, let's go take a walkabout. Yeah, Papa loves you. He surely does. You're his bestest buddy. But don't tell Cleo, okay? Ooh, it's going to be a hot one today. I'm thinking they say, what, 94, 96, something like that. Really doesn't matter. But for the rest of the week, they're claiming, well, you know, the speculation is for the remainder of the week, starting tomorrow, Tuesday, the 22nd of August, it's supposed to be in the hundreds. Pretty much for the rest of the week. But we'll see. Yeah, they also claim a lot of things that have yet come to pass. But it is a hot and steamy one today. And it's 11:24 governmental time. You know, that daylight savings time. Yep, so that'd be 10:24 God's time. But let's take a walk and talk, if you'd like. Okay, let's be careful while we come down the steps. You're a mess. Oh, there you are, friend and family. So glad to see you again today in Mr. Tom's neighborhood. Yeah, if you listen closely, you'll hear the cicadas singing, because it's hot and steamy. Yes, it is. Whew. So let's take a look at things. Let's do a walkabout and a talkabout of the gardens and what we got growing still here on the 4th week in August. August the 21st. If you'd like, come along with me. Now we'll just start this with the blueberries, which most of them have pretty much finished up. You can still find a few plump and juicy ones in there if you try. But for the most part, as you can see, they're starting to wrinkle and shrivel up. We've taken many of them to a secret location to disperse them in an effort to propagate blueberries in the wild. I think that would be neat. Something I could leave for generations. But like I say, there's still a few you can find and eat, like these 4 here. Let's try them out, okay? Oh my God. Whew, they're so sweet, so juicy. Yes, they are. And we've got to pick more of these off and take them out and plant them in the wild. You see how they're getting all dried, shriveled up, wrinkly? Yeah, like dried raisins they are. You see these right here? Yep, that's what we're going to be doing. If you'd like to come along with me, maybe I'll take you along. It's a secret place. Now some of you, if you've been with the channel for quite some time, you've seen it all before. Might not know where it's at, but you've been there with old Mr. Tom. Yeah, here's 3 more that look mighty fine. Let's see. Oh my lordly, yes. Oh, those are so plump and juicy. Whew, and think about it. The 4th week in August. August has 5 weeks. Well, sort of, kinda. If you count the end of July and the beginning of September and the 1st and the last week. But yep, the blueberries pretty much done for the year. As you saw, we can get a few to munch on. The birds surely have enjoyed them. The mockingbirds and the blue jays, which think they're theirs. But yeah, that's a bright blue sky, partly cloudy, not so much, with a light breeze. As you can see, the pecan trees waving in it. It's a wonderful day to be alive. So we're going to start right here in the south side garden bed. And you can see the okra. Yeah, we still haven't thinned it out because with this heat, it's just hard to do transplants. But we have sprayed it for the buggies and it's doing much better, as you can see. This little acorn squash plant right here, it's got a baby There's a little bitty tiny one right there. And look who's here, nibbling on my thumb. Trying to get attention. Yep. My garden buddy, Spooky. I've got so many things to transplant, like these okra right here, that were suffering from spider mites. But we sprayed them, and now they're done. And then, of course, the armyworms found our collards. You can see some of the damage on the leaves right here. And right here. Can't you, Spooky? Can't you see? You just want love today, aren't you? Oh, you just a little love muffin, aren't you? Yep. Hard to beat the armyworms. And if you don't spray, they'll destroy your crop within days. Most of this damage was done in the course of one day. And then we had to get out the spray and take care of it. They're all gone now. And the collards are looking mighty fine. And it just amazes me, here we are, 4th week of August, and we still got collards growing, and we're still eating them. And look, oops, bumped her head there. Look at the size of these leaves. See that? Here's my hand, there's the leaf. They're bigger than my hand. Collards are supposed to be a cool weather crop, but these have come through like champions. They've been in the ground since last fall. The husky cherry tomato is doing mighty fine. And we've ate several red ripe cherry tomatoes off of it over the last week. I don't think any are ready right now, but more are coming, as you can see. Ooh, there's some blossoms right there hiding behind the leaf. Let's tickle them and make sure they'll make some tomatoes for all of us. And that's all you gotta do. Just vibrate them like that. Some people use a electric toothbrush. I just use my index finger. Give them a little tickle and make them happy. The volunteer cucumbers that we took out of the compost pile, there's 2 of them here. Well, look at there. They're still producing too. Yeah, the cucumbers are a little bit misshapen. Some say that's because of inadequate watering, irregular watering. Well, trust me. These cucumbers, like all the plantings here on my little piece of paradise in the deep south of Alabama, have been watered regularly every day. I think it's a pollination issue, if I had to say. Down here we got 3 more lone okra plants that we just stuck seed in to see if it would grow, and it did. And you can see, if you look closely, right here, those little white spots on the leaves, that's the telltale evidence of the spider mites that are now long gone. Yep, they all came to their demise. The bean plant we had looks pretty sad. The spider mites had its way with it, and I think they're pretty much done. They've got a bean or 2, and I was hoping they'd re-leaf out, and maybe they still will. I see some brand new little leaves every once in a while. The vines are still alive, and I'm still watering them, so we'll have to see. Here's more collards, looking mighty fine for this time of year, if I do have to say so myself. You know, our straight neck yellow squash plant, it ain't done a thing this year except have blossoms. None of its fruit, i.e. its squash, have matured. But like I always tell you, you can eat the blossoms. And in many Asian countries, they do just that. They throw them in some batter, fry them up real quick, and they're a tasty treat. I love them raw. Yep, they're tasty. Or at least I think so. This collard plant right here was what made me know I had the armyworms. You see the devastation. And this was overnight. And that's what prompted me to spray. And I did spray. Now you can spray with neem oil, and that might work. But in my experience, armyworms, they just walk right through it and don't seem to care. But the one thing that I used, and I hate to do it, because I try to stay as organic as I can, had to break out the 7 and hit them with it. And the armyworms are now history. Over here we threw a bunch of old radish seed. And it hadn't come up much in the past, but when I just threw it out here, a whole bunch of it came up. But the radish seedlings are rather leggy, i.e. being long, and that's just because this is in the shade more than it's in the sun. We'll see what we get. If we get some greens, I'll be happy, and it'll be fun. So that's pretty much for our south side garden bed. Still a lot of food growing here as we wind up August of 2023. Guess Spooky gave up. He's going to sit there in the shade, not follow. I don't blame him, because out in the sun, it's scorching hot. But our potted kale is looking really fine. Oh yeah, the lower leaves, if we don't harvest them, will get old and die. It's not a big deal. I can come out here and pick me 4, 5, 6, 8 kale leaves, dice them all up, you know, after you wash them, of course, and throw them in with my eggs or a little hamburger or such, and make a fine meal. The collard plant that we stuck in a pot just to see if we could, it too got a little bit of damage from the armyworms, but we caught it just in time, and now it's looking just fine. The only reason we planned these things in the pots was because we had them, they were sort of orphans, and I wanted to see, could they grow in pots and produce and feed me. Now this is something you don't see every day. Here's my garlic chives in this old wore out, beat up, disintegrating pot. Had them for over 20 years. And look here what's happening. Yep, they're starting to bloom, and with it they'll set their seed. So I'm going to be moving it back out onto the old raised bed so the wind can carry their seed out across the yard, and we'll have more wild garlic than we got now. And we got quite a bit, because I can smell it when I mow. Maybe we'll take a look at it as we go. Now we got to head out of the shade in between the vehicles, which some are about to leave. Get under the pecans. I hope we have some nuts this year. We just have to wait and see. It's been a tough year for the trees with all the storms and torrential rains and the strong winds. We've lost a lot of the pecans during all of that. I found them on the ground. But we're heading out here in the blazing sunshine to the south side timber fence and the tire plantings. Let's check on it. You can already see some of the leaves of this acorn squash starting to wilt, but it's still got baby squash in there, and it's been watered this morning. See one right there, and then if we go right down here, it's sitting on another one. Got more blossoms coming on. Look at there. There's a trio of 3 baby squash, acorn that is, about to be. Imagine that. Here on the 21st of August, 2023. The kale forest is looking a little bit scraggly. Now we did spray this with a fungicide in hopes of stopping the bacterial wilt. I think it slowed it down. It may have not made it go away, because I'm still seeing some of the remnants here on these leaves. But let me show you a special thing, and your kale will do this too. You see all along the stem, look there, all the new leaves starting to form out. They'll become new stems and new kale leaves. And it's happening from the start of the base, as you can see right here, all the way up to right here. And it'll continue as the season goes on. The other ones aren't doing it yet, but the biggest one here already has. And if you look down here in the forest floor, you'll see a lot of green. Well, that would be the cherry bell radishes, the old seed we threw in that we didn't think would sprout, but as you can see, it did. It's coming along rather nicely in this heat. Radishes, here again, are a cool weather crop. Look at this okra. It must be 4 feet high by now. Won't be long and we'll be having okra pods. Let's see, there's flowers right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the crown of that okra plant. And several more over there. So it's just going to be maybe a few days to a week and we'll see the beautiful flowers. Did you know okra was part of the hibiscus family? And here again, the flowers are edible, as are the pods. I just love them. You can see many more right here. What, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there in the crown of that plant. It's outgrown the kale that was planted in the spring. And we got a little bitty tiny one struggling under the canopy. We got to get that out and transplant it somewhere soon. These are the ones I took out of there and transplanted here along the fence. And they're doing just marvelous. Look at all those okra flowers about to be. It's like a bouquet. Here as well. We get down here to the third one that we put out, and these were all planted or transplanted at different times. And you can see 2 or 3 there, 2 or 3 there. My plan was to create sort of a living fence. I've got many more to transplant, or just haven't found the time where it's ideal to do it. In this heat, that's a poor time to be transplanting plants. So I've been holding off, looking for those cloudy days and summer showers that have now evaded us. But there it is. And if you look back upon it, it looks mighty fine in my mind. You hear those cicadas singing in the distance? I do. Well, hey, let's head up here to the old raised bed. Yeah, I'm getting behind on my mowing. It's not been drying out very well. In fact, it's still wet. As we can take a look at and see, you'll see the water droplets down here in the grass. You see them? And I hate to mow when the grass is still wet. Instead of cutting nice and clean, just sort of shreds it up. And yeah, I'm not big on yards, but I hate to tear it all up. Yeah, we got the burn pile here that we never got burned, but that's okay, because morning glory is about to cover it all up anyway. You see, all of that is morning glory. Well, we have a poke salad right here about to bloom and set its berries, which is its fruit too. And you can eat this if you know how to process it. Many of the South did long ago. I've ate it way back in the past. But here we are at the old raised bed, and we got many things coming on. We sprayed for the spider mites, which you can see the discoloration of its leaves in comparison to its new leaves. The spider mites are all dead and gone. And the Swiss chard's starting to recover. It's watered every day. It struggles in the heat, especially the heat of the deep south. Now, I don't care what anybody says. I've heard many here on YouTube say Swiss chard will take the heat. I'm not sure where they live, but it's never taken the heat very well this far in the deep south of Alabama. But yeah, if you look out here, we threw a bunch of old seed in here. Everything from radishes to kale. Here we got a radish coming up. Another one right there. Another one there. One thrown out there. And the rest of the green is weeds. Yeah, we got to get to plucking weeds again. Here's some grass. You know, it's an everyday thing. Our volunteer husky tomato plant. That's what I'm going to say it is, because we had a husky growing right here last year, and it dropped many of its fruit that were all split. And they weren't primed to eat. You know, cherries are bad about splitting, especially when you have heavy rainfall. And the husky is no exception to that rule. But we do, and I have to be careful, we have several new onion seedlings popping up from the 2 or 3 seed heads from that old onion planting over there. And it's just doing fine. I mean, there's a lot of onion there. You can come out here and just chop. Get you one of these green stalks, like this one right here. Take it on into the country kitchen. Get out the old chef's knife and slice and dice and throw it in an omelet, your scrambled eggs, or on top of your fried, and it makes it all so yummy. I'm telling you, it does. Our row of cherry bell radishes there, they've struggled in the heat, but they're coming along, and we've ate a few. As the roots develop, well, I see a few more. They're about to come in to the old country kitchen and get sauteed in some butter, garlic, ooh, a little salt and black pepper, and they're just so yummy. And you can eat the greens, and I do. So, I mean, there's Swiss chard in here. There's the hopes for a tomato. There's onion, radishes. Quite a lot of food, but there's a lot of empty space. I think I gotta check out all my seed, see what else I can throw on in here, and try to get it to come up as summer wanes and fall comes. Oh, and the pepper and tomato patch is now over my head. It's made it to the top of the support beams. I gotta tie it up one more time, and that'll be all I can do. They're looking beautiful, and there's tomatoes in here too. You just gotta look for them. Like, look down here. You see it? There's one there. There's one there. And if we head on in here, now, y'all be quiet. Don't scare them and disturb them. They may be taking a nap. It's midday. And we'll go in the tomato jungle and see what else we can find. Because I know there's more. Oh, look at there. Look at that one. Uh-oh. Look right in there. You see that? We got one turning red. My first tomato of the season. Because I planted way so late. You all know why. You know, the hospital thing, almost dying and all that stuff. But that one right there, I'll slice up and I'll have me a mater sandwich. I don't got to grow tomatoes. That one slice covers the whole bread. You know, I'm not picky. And look at right there. There's another one. And they're all on through in here. Look at these. One right there. Another one hiding back there. Look at this fine jewel sitting there. Yeah, they're all up in here. If you want to take a peek. And these acorn squash up here, where we planted one here, one here, one there, and one out there, are now going everywhere. And here again, these blossoms are edible. You should look that up. When I was in Japan, they fry them up. I'm telling you. Make some tempura batter, season it well, give them a quick dip, throw them in some hot oil for just a second until they brown. Let them cool and pop them in the choppers. You'll be glad you did. Personally, I eat them raw all the time out here in the garden. Like now. Yep. If you get them when they just close up, like this one here. It was open this morning, and now it's done. This is when they're the tastiest. Let me show you, just so you know that I do what I say. Here's the nice fine squash blossom from an acorn plant. And this is what I'm going to do with it. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mmm. Whew. It's hard to believe in the midday when things are so hot and so dry, they'd still be so juicy and sweet. And you know what? Pollen. Look it up. It's good for you. I'm going to have another one, if you don't mind. Ooh, there's another fine one. Look at the size of that. Can you imagine coating that in some batter or seasoned flour, throwing in a little oil and letting it brown? Oh, you wish you'd came to town. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm not lying to you. Now, I don't know about all squash. I will say this. The acorn squash is one of the most tastiest around, I found. Whew, yes it is. Well, let's sneak back out of the tomato jungle before we disturb their afternoon rest. Over on this side, we still got our little onion planting, doing mighty fine. But you'll see, the acorns are starting to wilt under this midday sun. It's not lack of water, it's just the intensity of the sun. Trust me, it is. As you can see over here, where all of this, with its pretty bluish flowers. Have you ever told me what it is? But for the life of me, I can't remember now. Yep, it's Asian something. But you can see how the leaves have curled in this midday sun. That's to conserve moisture and to ensure its survival. In the blazing sun, I can't say enough good about these outdoor pop fly traps from the fine folks at Rescue. I believe this one's just about chock full. Yep, it is. But it's still bringing them in, and you can see some larvae right here trying to escape and make more flies. But later in the afternoon, when the sun goes behind the trees, I'll dump it out in the old compost box to feed the worms. Rinse it on out and renew it again, because I have definitely put a dent in the fly population around here. Yeah, we still have them, but not so much. The pigweed or the red root amaranth, that I showed you and talked about previously in a video the other day is doing just fine. I'm letting it grow. Maybe I'll harvest the grain and make some bread. Who knows? But look at these acorn squash. There were 4. The first one right here. The second one right there in between the rows. The third up there in between the tomato rows. I mean at the end, not in the row. Yeah, and then the 4th one up there beside the onion patch. Now I wanted them to grow over the old burn pile, but they've had a mind of their own. As you can see, they're growing down the pepper rows. And the peppers, other than the lunchbox, which have struggled with leaf spot, of course, and we have now treated them for that. We hit them with a fungicide after we hit them with the hydrogen peroxide. And they're looking better now, or at least the new growth is. Only time will tell. But the bells, they're looking mighty fine. Let me show you something. Let's get down here. Oh, yep, those were my knees popping because we're squatting down. Look up in there. You see that nice bell? Woo, yeah. I think there's more down here. Oh, there's a big one hiding right down there at the bottom. And a nice, juicy red one right there. I'm sure there's more. Oh, look at that monster. You see it right there? It's humongous. Like I said, that's why I was cooking pepper steak the other night. I'm starting to have peppers come from all directions. Bananas, bells, and on occasion, not so much, lunchbox too. They don't seem to do much during this excessive heat. But the bells do, and so do the bananas. You can see the blossoms right there. And we can look up under here, there's more. Look at that big one. And there's another one ripening there. I think there's one out here. Yeah, there's another one. Look at here. There's another one ripening. And another one right there. And many more blossoms are still to come. You see? So the peppers are doing fine. But let me show you something. The acorn squash has got a mind of its own. See? The vine's coming all the way out here. It's already ran down the walkway between the tomatoes and the peppers. I even got a vine climbing up through the peppers, or no, the tomatoes right here. There's the end of it. And there's more baby acorns setting fruit and coming along. So yeah, the pepper, tomato, and squash patch is doing just fine. Even with all the heat we've had. But we've had rains up to this time. Now you know we talked about the garlic chives. And what you're going to see right here amongst all this chamber bitters is garlic chives gone wild. You see them right here? Right there. And I know, and they're all throughout here, from seed that blew off from my planting in that pot that used to sit right here on the corner of this old raised bed. And the wind strode the seed all over the back lot here. There's a little leaf there. You can see the end's been cut. But when I mow back here, you get a nice aroma of fresh cut garlic every time I come through with the mower. And it just keeps coming back. You can see all the leaves are cut off at the top. I'd like to let it grow so it can all seed and more will come. I don't mind. It's free food. If you like a mild garlic flavor in any of your dishes, plant you some garlic chives. I think they'll make you happy and suit your needs. Like always, I can munch on it straight from the ground. And now we go over here to the old compost pile planting. You can see things are suffering from the heat and the sun. Now, it wasn't that way this morning when I was doing the watering. Everything was looking perky and mighty fine. But you can see all the leaves drooping and wilting. Here again, that's what they'll do. Their leaves wilt and droop to cut down on the surface area that the sun hits, therefore saving the moisture and ensuring their survival. The cucumbers here, running wild everywhere, do pretty much the same. Then we go over here in the shade where this acorn squash plant is, and you'll see its leaves are not wilted or drooping, and they look just fine. And we got some acorns to pick. See it? Turning orange there. Another little one there. And another tasty blossom right over there. And of course, the volunteer tomatoes are just spreading everywhere. They got blossoms. They got maters too. There's 3 right there. If you look up on in here, there's many more to come. You see them? There's several back in there. Another one back in there. Yeah, I decided not to stake them or do anything elaborate. Just throw down some grass and leaf clippings and let them run like they would in the wild. You know, just for fun, and see what they would do. In the past years, I've eaten many a tasty tomato out of my compost pile. I'm telling you. But they're still setting blossoms. It's still setting a lot of fruit, even in this blazing sunshine, as you can see right there. And right there. Oh, there's even more over there. Yeah, I'm gonna have more tomatoes than one old little man can use. I'm sure of that, just from what I'm seeing now. And here, that acorn squash plant, and it was just one in the center of the compost pile, and it's spread out to over there, now to over here. And as you saw, that's part of it over back behind the tomatoes too. And I don't know how many squash are on it, quite a few. Let's take a look under here and see if we have any new. Well, there's one right there. There's 2. Oh, here's a nice new one right under here. You see it? 2 more over there. And I know if you go back up in here and follow it, there's many more at differing degrees of maturity. Didn't cost me a thing but to throw the seeds in the compost pile last winter, and this spring they sprouted and grew on. But we're up here in the upper meadow, as I call it, next to the bamboo forest, our feathered friends sanctuary, as we call it. So we'll head on over here to the old clothesline planting, where we got the beans, some of my Kentucky Wonder rattlesnake cross, as well as some rattlesnake from Haas Tools. And we got some bacteria wilt, as you'll see on a few, but the rest are looking pretty good still. Let's take a look in here, see if we can find some beans. Oh yeah, right there. Oh, some more there. Oh, there's a nice one right there. And as we go further up, which I'll need a ladder to do, there's a ton of them up above my head. You see it? Right there. Ooh, look behind this leaf. Look at those. Those are looking mighty fine. As this one is too. And it's still blossoming and setting beans. So we'll see just how long it can go. The blossoms are just beautiful. Don't you agree? That violet color. I just love them. And over here we can see even more beans. So we can probably come out here. I don't need it for today because I already got leftovers to eat. Tomorrow, I think I'll grab a few. Dice up some country ham. A little bit of onion and garlic too. And make me some green beans and country ham. It's a whole meal in a bowl. You can do some garlic bread or cornbread and you'll be happy. Here we got another lunch box that has struggled along with disease. But now it's starting to reset blossoms. As you can see, we've eaten many a pepper off of it. So I'm hoping if we can get through this latest heat wave, it'll perk up and we'll have many more peppers to come. There's a lot of blossoms in there about to be. And as you can see, up under here are poblano pepper, the only hot pepper I grew. Look at that nice one. Look at these. One there, one there, one there. Yep, and the plant looks mighty fine. Way better than that lunchbox. Look at over here. Look at that one. And you tell me that ain't a fine poblano right there. And then if we go way down here, you see? Right there, there's a red ripe one that we need to get. Because if you don't get the ripe ones off your pepper plants, it'll shut down production. Let me tell you, it will. And look over at that banana. She's looking a little rough, but I see it's got another one ripening up. And they're so beautiful. You see it? Right there. And we got beans growing up this T-post and bamboo all the way to the sky. You know, I do that. If there's a pole sitting, ain't got nothing to grow on it, I stick a few bean seeds in the ground to utilize the pole. I mean, this is where we had our cucumber planting. The Bonnie, burpless bush hybrid that succumbed to bacterial wilt. And as you can see, it's looking mighty poor. We've tried to keep it going. You know, it's had a little new growth, as you can see. But overall, I think it's on its death throes and about to die. So what I'm thinking, since the beans really love to grow here, I'll be throwing in some more rattlesnake pole beans in here. Probably tomorrow, if I had to guess. Yep, there's a banana. That's the very first one that we bought way back in March. And it's struggled with leaf spot, and we've treated it for it. And you can see it's dropped some of its leaves. That's just what they do. But the new growth, it looks fine. So maybe we stopped it for a time. Look at those peppers. But this one here, which the kitty crew bought me back at the beginning of June. Man, it's just got peppers everywhere. Looky right there. Look up under here. See all those peppers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another one there. A couple more there. Another one there. And more blossoms about to come, bloom, and set more peppers for me. See? One there, one there, one there, one there. Yep, I gotta tie them up once I pick the peppers off. Give them a shot of fertilizer, keep them watered as I do every day. And hey, I think we'll have peppers all the way to frost. But that's it for the old clothesline planting. Oh, there's some new beans right there. Those are off my cross because you don't see the stripes. Yep, the bean planting is a hodgepodge, a Haas rattlesnake, and my own Kentucky Wonder rattlesnake cross beans that I've been growing since 2019. Whew, the birds are finally starting to chirp a little bit. In this midday heat, they're often quiet. The only thing left over here, where the kitty crew had an experiment going, on the right, where that big cucumber is that needs to come in the house after we finish our walkabout, that used to be 2 of the Bonnie burpless bush hybrids. Both were infected with bacterial leaf wilt and died. Over here was the heirloom straight 8, also from Bonnie, and it survived. But it got powdery mildew and downy mildew, but it's still producing cucumbers. As you can see, that's a mighty fine one, if I do say so myself. And you know what? You may say, well, it's a tragedy that most of my cucumbers have died. Trust me, I'm over cucumbers for this season. You see, I can keep up eating a couple a week, but when you got 40 or 50 a week, that's a little bit tough, even for me. Though I will say, I've ate the majority of them this year. But yeah, it's got the downy mildew and the powdery mildew, but it's still trying to continue on. I water it every day, if nothing more, for the pollinators, because you can see a bumble flying around. They love the cucumber flowers, and if for nothing more, if it never produces another cucumber this season, as long as it keeps blooming like it has, it benefits the bees, as you can see. Oh, let me show you one thing before we head around and check the feeders for our feathered friends. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn off the bug light. Mosquito exterminator. Yeah, I've got my fall tomatoes planted and they've sprouted. Well, some of them have. Over here in this little 9-pack, I planted some Mountain Glory tomato seeds that I purchased in 2020 from Haas Tools. And you can see I've got 2 here, 1 there, 1 there, nothing there, nothing here, nothing here, 1 there, 1 there. So I got what, 2, 4, 6 tomato plants that came up from that old seed. I've never tried the Mountain Glory, but if these keep growing, and I'm sure they will, we'll have some for fall. And I'm going to plant them over there along the south side timber fence. You know where those T-posts are? And I already got the leaf clippings down. Yeah, covering the soil, feeding the worms, the microbes, and the mitochondria, psyllium, you know, fungi. They're all happy over there, living together and chilling out. Ooh, under the old Japanese maple really feels nice. Hey, let's make a sprint across the blazing tundra to the shade of the oaks on the north side of the house, under the ancient crepe myrtle, where the feeders are. Oh, look at there. We got some tiny little birds. That's feeders. If you be quiet. Oh, we spooked them, and they flew off. But not too far, as you can see. And something I need to adjure you to do. Feeding the birds is one thing, but they need water too. And last week I went and got a new galvanized pan from Walmart, from Bergen. It says Bergen Basics. The other one, the bottom had rusted out after only 4 years. And the birds will get right here on the rim and they'll just reach over and drink to their delight. I watch them all the time. Of course, Kitty Crew drinks out of this too for whatever reason. They got 2 big bowls of fresh water twice a day. But they love to drink out of the bird bath too. But lastly and leastly, we're going to take a look at the figs. The birds beat me out on a pig or two yesterday that I was hoping to show all of you. But let's look around here and see if we can see any more that are about to be ready. I thought I did earlier this morning. I hope they didn't get them before all of you showed up today. Well, let's look under here. Well, see, that was the one right there. The birds got it that I meant to pick yesterday. It just wasn't quite right, but I forgot about it. Came out this morning and it was already gone. But I know there's another one around here somewhere. We just got to find it. And that's one thing I'll tell you. If you're not growing pigs, then you should. I mean, they don't take a lot. Well, this one right here was the one I was going to share with y'all. I found it this morning during the watering. And you can see the birds have already got it. And I'm sure it was tasty. Well, they beat me to that one, but I think there's one more. Oh, there's one right there. You see it? You see it right here? Look at that one. They left me one. Ooh, look at that thing. Ooh, I just got to give it a try. Oh my word. Look at the inside of that. It tastes something between a strawberry and a mango. And maybe a guava too. Yeah, they taste sort of tropical fruit. I just love them. Thank you, my brethren friends. Did they leave us another one? I think they did. Woo! You see it right up there? Let's sneak up there and grab that one before they get it. Oh my word. That one is simply beautiful and ever so ripe. Whew. Let's give it a try. Look at it right there. Oh, there is nothing better than picking fruit from your very own tree when it's at its prime ripeness. As you can see. You see that right there? Man, these are good. You know, at one time, I grew so much here on this little piece of paradise in deep South Alabama that I could come out here, take care of it, and do my daily chores, eat fresh, and be full before I was done. I don't got that much now. I just got enough to make it fun. Hey, let's go on the front porch and chat a while before we call this one done. Well, as you can see, we're on the front porch in the shade, and I'm sure all of you appreciate it just like I do today. I think currently it's 94. Not sure what the humidity is, but just that walking around and talking with all of you has got me a little bit damp, I must admit. But I really did enjoy you stopping by and coming along. And I hope we'll see you again. So remember, I don't ask it much. Give us a old thumbs up. You know, one of them likes. Share to somebody you will think will enjoy the episodes of Mr. Tom and the Kitty Crew in his neighborhood. We do many things, from gardening till we take you out in the big woods to foraging, wild edibles, drive-alongs, fast food Fridays, in-depth research, and so much more. But I appreciate every one of you, and I hope you appreciate what we do here in my little piece of paradise in the deep south of Alabama. With that said, you know them all. till we see you on that next episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood. You know, Cleo, Spooky, who came along today till he couldn't take the heat in the midday. And Speedy, who's been napping since late morning. And of course, sometimes Heathcliff, as you've already saw. And the Princess Little Gracie, holding down the fort in the house. And now, a new one has come along to join the crew. Fluffy Muffin, for now. So y'all, take care. Stay safe out there. Stay cool. They're saying 100-degree days starting tomorrow for a week out. So, with temperatures like that, it can be extremely dangerous, not only for us seniors, but for the young ones too. So remember to stay hydrated. Take your minerals and vitamins too. Yeah. And may God bless you, as you have blessed those in your lives. Goodbye for now. You know it's hot when the birds are quiet and they're not singing. And it's so hot now, the cicadas gave it up. And when they're singing in the morning, you can know the day's going to be a hot and steamy one to come. Yep, it's always the way. Well, we're going to head on in the house and see what old Gracie has to say. I wonder where we lost Spooky. Yeah, he's somewhere out there in the yard. Probably with his sister Speedy. Or Mama Cleo. Who's to say? Well, y'all, this one's done. Later, all.